Hello, welcome to this presentation on drawing, issue and revision workflows in Advanced Steel. We're calling this one a skill builder. This will be quite a short webinar just to give you some brief facts and information about a nice simple topic. So hopefully you can learn something useful, get some tips, but that's not going to take up too much of your day. So let's get stuck in. To introduce myself, my name's Alec Giles. I'm a structures consultant at Greytec UK. And I'm also an Autodesk Expert Elite. I originally trained as a mechanical design engineer just over 30 years ago, and I designed machinery for about 10 years. But then I moved sideways to become the CAD manager of that company, and I was training and supporting users of AutoCAD, AutoCAD Mechanical, Inventor, and Solid Edge. I moved to Greytec in 2010, so I've been here over 11 years now, and I've been focused 100% on Advanced Steel for the entirety of that time. So overall, I have over 20 years experience giving training and support to users. Why should you use Greytec as your business partner? We believe we have a unique offering to cover and assist your workflows and your products throughout the entire product lifecycle in your company. We split it into 4 areas of create, simulate, fabricate and manage. First of all, you create your designs using Autodesk products like like Inventor or Advanced Steel. And they're enhanced with Power Packs for the extra functionality from Greytec. You can simulate your designs and analyze those designs using Greytec Advanced Design. We have tools to manage your workshop and control the workshop workflows and throughput called Advanced Workshop, and we also have OpenTree software for managing all of the data, all the hundreds of files created, make sure everyone's working on the latest files and so on throughout your entire company. So moving on to today's topic, we're going to be looking at how to handle revision workflows. So I'm sure you agree it would be a minor miracle if you can ever do a project, create a set of drawings and issue them, and then never have to revise them again. Unfortunately, like it or not, revisions are a fact of life. There's always going to be something needs revising on your drawings or your model during a project. So in this webinar, I'm going to answer the following questions on that subject. How can you know which drawings have already been issued? That's really key to the whole thing. Which drawings have been issued? When there are changes, what's the best way to handle the changes in your model? How do you handle the changes and the revisions to the drawings after doing the model? And then once you've done all the changes, how do you know which drawings have changed so you can issue the right ones again? Again, very tricky and could be a difficult topic. But fortunately, there's tools in Advanced Steel to help with all this. So the very first point is issuing your drawings. How do you know which drawings have been issued? Well, Advanced Steel has a basic but effective system to handle issuing drawings. This system is completely and utterly manual, and there's nothing in the system to force you to use it. Because there's nothing forcing you to use it, we suspect that most users probably barely aware that it exists and ignore it if they do know about it and probably aren't using it very much. But it's really key to making an efficient, easy workflow for handling revisions and changes. So this is what you need to do. You open Document Manager and you select all the drawings that you want to issue. If you have every single drawing on the job, you could just select the up-to-date folder. And that's the same as selecting everything inside that folder. Then on the right-hand side of Document Manager, there's a little drop-down that you may not have noticed or may have just ignored. It currently says Not Set. You need to change that property from a Not Set to something else like Approved. And then every single drawing will get a coloured dot in front of the file name. You may have seen the white dots there, not really paid any attention to them. But when that goes to a coloured dot, you know the drawing is issued. That issue status, whatever you set it to, not approved or issued for manufacture, for construction or whatever, can be written directly into the title block inside the drawings as well. So let's look at that. This is really key. You have to get this right. So we go into Document Manager and we look at our drawings. There you go, lots of drawings on this project. And you'll see they all have an empty white dot in front of the name. And if you have a look in the drawing itself, look at the title block. there's a line there saying issue status, which is currently blank. And the drop down on the right hand side currently says not set. So I'm going to select the folder saying up to date, which is the same as selecting all the drawings. I'm going to change that from not set. I'm going to change it to say something else. So I'm going to choose for inquiry only. That's the reason for the issue, inquiry only. So I select that. And when I do that, it's going to now mark every single drawing as issued. And it's going to write that into the title blocks for me. So it takes a few seconds. But there you go. You can now see every single drawing in the list now has a blue dot in front of it. Each status has a different color dot. And if I look at the title block, whatever the words said have now been written into the title block for me automatically. So every drawing now tells me it's been issued for inquiry only. So that is nothing forcing you to do that. You've probably never done that, or a lot of you probably never done that. But if you don't, you won't know what's going on in future. But it's really simple, really easy to do. The date that you set that status, change it from not set to anything else, is recorded in the system, and that will show us the issue date for that drawing. So when you do drawing lists on the bills of materials or revision lists, and it shows the revision, the issue date on that list is the date that that status was changed. I used the approval status in the title block there. If you want to see more about that, how to get that into the title block, take a look at my previous webinar about enhancing your drawings in Advanced Steel. Talk about how to enhance the prototypes for the drawings, and one of the points there is how to get that approval status into the title block. It's really useful. And that's available on the Content Center, so go to GreatX Content Center to see all our previous webinars. So issuing the drawings, that is the first and really important step, but it's so easy to miss or forget. If you forget it, then you've got problems later on. You must just discipline yourself to remember to do it. So you do your project, you create all the drawings, you modify as you wish, you issue the drawings, and you've marked them all in the system as issued. That status are used for inquiry only. That's a custom status. So you're not stuck with only using the 4 or 5 that come in the system. When you first install it, it'll just say something like not set, approved, rejected, revised, something else. Not all the others, but you can add your own to the list. So I added things like as built, for inquiry only, for construction, and so on. I'll show you that in a few minutes. So you've issued your drawings now. So that's marvelous. You go along, you've sent your drawings out. But that's the key then, isn't it? As soon as you send your drawings out, somebody comes along with a change. Probably 5 minutes later, they've been hiding around the corner waiting for you to issue, so they can jump out and catch you straight away afterwards and change something. So, okay, got loads of changes to do now. You've just sent the drawings out, and now you've got changes to do. What are you going to do about it? How are you going to control things from now on? First of all, you need to make all the known changes to your model. Don't even think about making a few changes and issuing a few drawings, then making a few more changes and issuing a few drawings. That's just not going to be a very efficient workflow. Do all the changes you know about. Whether that takes you 10 minutes or takes you 10 days, do everything that you know, everything you can think of, until you think you've got a stable model again. And then, and only then, do you renumber. But you must renumber the whole model. Don't just try and pick the bits you think you changed. Renumber the entire model. That means have nothing selected when you do the numbering. And that will then allow the system to compare everything in the model and see if things have changed or not. When you do that, now you probably won't be able to keep track of this yourself in your head, but some parts may have been the same. Maybe you had 10 columns the same, and then you drilled holes into them, so now those 2 columns are different to the others. So you need a new drawing of those 2 columns, not only the column as an assembly, but as the beam going through the middle of the column. So you're going to need new part drawings, new assembly drawings, and you won't know which parts these are because you've made possibly dozens of different changes to the model. You can't keep track of everything. So you need to create all the new drawings for any new parts that may exist, but you don't even really know if any new parts exist. But that's easy to do. You should have, there is a default in the system called Allow Duplicate Workshop Drawings. And 99% of you, at least, that should be turned off. There's only a handful of people who need that turned on for special reasons. Normally that's turned off, so you can't have the same part or assembly drawn twice. So with that in mind, you can then just tell the system, draw all parts or draw all assemblies, in the UK build there's an all parts and there's an all assemblies drawing process at the top of those pages on the drawing processes palette. So use the all parts and use all assemblies drawing processes. And that'll give you a big list of all the parts and assemblies that already exist. Because I know most of them already exist. But any that don't already have a drawing, it'll find them and automatically create drawings for those new parts. You haven't got to know where they are in the model. Let's have a look. So here we go. We've got the model familiar to many of you. I'm going to make some simple changes. First of all, I'm going to move this beam. I'm just going to move it forward 200 mil. That means that these short beams get a bit longer and the bolts at either end have moved up with the beam, so the holes in the neighbouring beams have moved. But they're all the same parts, are still the same, but these two beams are currently the same. I'm going to change one of them. I'm just going to put a random notch or cope into one of those beams. That's fine, I don't care about the dimensions. That means those two beams are now different. So I've got parts that used to be the same but are now different, so at least one of them needs a new drawing. So you would do lots and lots of changes potentially. You wouldn't necessarily keep track of it. I've only done two really simple ones here. But you do all your changes, you don't know what's changed or not. Then you do the numbering. The system will work out which parts need new numbers, which parts are the same. Don't fear or don't panic. Beam 1 will still be beam 1. It won't suddenly become beam 37 just for fun. But if you have two beam 7s the same, I did, if we scroll down there, it said one beam 7 changed to B16. The original one still keeps the original number, but the one that changed in this case, the beam that changed was M1009 as a part. That's got a new number as a part. So it's only the items that change that get new numbers. All the existing items keep the same numbers. So you don't have to worry about renumbering, just because we're already issued, they'll all be fine. Now we'll double check, go into management tools and defaults. Under drawing general, in the general subcategory, you've got this option here, allow duplicate workshop drawings. Make sure that is not ticked. There's very little reason for most people to have that ticked. Make sure it's not ticked. And then I'm going to use the all assemblies process. So just everything in the model, I want an assembly drawing. And the system says, hey, well, all these drawings already exist. Yep, that's fine. I know that. I was expecting that. But it did find one. You saw a little flicker at the bottom that didn't exist, and it drew B16 for me. I don't have to know where B16 was. It just found it and drew it. I'll do the same for parts. Again, I don't know which part might be new or might not be new. It's found all the existing ones. It's flickering at the bottom. And it's drawn for me M1021 as a part drawing. So it's found that part without me needing to know where it is and created the missing drawings for me. So if you have that toggle set, it's really easy to create any missing drawings. You haven't got to try and keep track of what's going on. I've got to rack your brains, try and select the new parts in the model. You're not going to have a clue where half of them are. The system just takes care of it all for you. Let the system do the hard work. That's halfway through the workflow. We've done the model. How do you know which existing drawings are changed or affected by the changes you've done in the model? Because some of them might need different quantities, some of them the holes have moved, some of them all sorts of things have happened. How do you know which ones have got to change? Well, the good news is Advanced Steel tracks it all for you, and that's found in Document Manager again. So you're going to open Document Manager, and you'll have a folder there called Update Required under the Details folder. So you select the Update Required folder, and instead of clicking Force Update, whatever you do, don't click Force Update. Force Update will bring the drawing up to date, but it won't record any changes on the drawing, so you won't know which ones are new, which ones are changed, what's happened in that drawing, what's different about it to what it was before. You must click Update Revision instead. So the top right of Document Manager, the top line is Force Update, second button, Update Revision. Click on that, and then complete the little dialog box that appears, telling it who did the revision and why. And then click OK, and the system will get on and do the job. So let's have a look. We've done the change to the model, so that's fine. I'm going to go into Document Manager, and look, we've got a folder saying Update Required. So it's the Update Revision button we want, but let's have a look first. See under there, it's kept track of which drawings are affected by my changes. So there's 5 or 6 drawings there. I select the folder, I click Update Revision, and I get the little dialog box. So I put in somebody to blame and why they did it. Say OK. and let the system get on with it. So now the system's looking at all of those drawings and working out what's different and going through a workflow and bringing them all up to date. You can see the flickering at the bottom of the screen. This is why I like to make sure I don't maximize Document Manager, because I want to see that flickering at the bottom of the screen to make sure I know something's happening. Otherwise, if you maximize Document Manager, you can't see that and you're not sure if you've clicked the button or is anything happening or not. But here we go, we've got the drawings now, so let's look at one of them that's changed. Here we go. Have a look in the title block. You can see it's put revision A in the corner. It's filled in the revision line with the information I typed into the dialog box. And it's put a cloud around whatever's changed, so the quantity changed this time probably. Choose a different one. And this time those holes have moved and those dimensions have different values to what they had before. So it identifies all the changes in the drawings for you. So when you click that update revision, this is what it does in the background. It copies all the affected drawings into a safe backup folder. And that will mean that you eventually have a backup of every single issue of every single drawing. So if you need at any point for some reason to compare version F to version C, you can do that. Then it will bring the current drawing, the master drawing, up to date. It will raise the issue of the drawing and it will indicate the changes on the drawing using clouds. Just a little footnote, until you click update revision, all the drawings are showing the old information before any changes happened. So you might have spent 3 days editing the model, but the drawings haven't changed. They're showing everything before those changes happened until you do the update revision. This way you only get one new issue, one new revision per change order, not one for every time you save the model or any other excuses. You don't end up jumping 4 or 5 issues for one change. So we've done the changes, we've done the drawings, but now we've got some drawings that are at different issues. We might have drawings that have been revised several times, so on issue D, some that are only got the brand new drawings that are on issue blank, some drawings that are issue A because they've just been revised for the first time, some that have been revised once or twice on B. So how do you know which one of those, the blank ones, the A's, the B's, the D's, or what? How do you know which drawings need to be issued today? Which one's changed since last week? This might be the third set of revisions on the model. Well, this is where we go back to the start where we talked about the issue status. So if you don't do the issue status at the start, you're screwed at this point. You can't keep track of that. And it's down to you then to have to do things a much harder way. But if you've done the issue status at the start, then when you look in Document Manager and look at the dots in front of the file names, you'll see they've all gone white again for all the drawings that have changed. So all the drawings that were not affected still have that colored dot as you left it. But any that are now brand new, or any that have been changed since they were issued, that dot goes back to a white dot, and the issue status goes back to say not set. So it's easy to spot the ones that need to be reissued or resent today. So you can simply select those ones with the white dot and issue them again. So let's have a look just to reinforce it. So we'll have a look at Document Manager again. There you go. You can see most of the drawings have that blue dot, but there's odd ones there with the white dot. That one, B16, is brand new, so it's not got a revision letter on the end. That's a revision A. That's a revision A. So no matter what the revision is, the ones with the white dots are the ones that you need to send out today. And if you have a look in the title block, you can see that issue saying not with blank. For the drawing that was revised, the issue status says not set because it's gone back to not set, and that wouldn't be acceptable, so you have to set it to a proper status before you issue it. So I can select all the drawings with the white dots. You can hold down Control to select multiple things on the left hand side here. Just hold Control on the keyboard as you click, so select all the ones with the white dots, and then I can change the status to whatever I think is appropriate. So let's maybe go for revised. Now they've got the orange dots and they all say revised in the title block, and I could print those off and send them to the workshop again. So again, if you didn't remember to set that issue status when you issued them, before you may change the model, you can't set the issue status on a drawing that says it's out of date or update required. You have to set the issue status before you make any changes to the model. So remember to do it. Try and make a good habit. Every time you're going to send those drawings out, the first thing you do is set the issue status, then you batch print the drawings and send them to the workshop or whatever. If you forgot to do that, it's much harder to tell which drawings changed. You'd probably have to produce a drawing list, have a look on the revision date or the issue date on the drawing list, and any that don't have an issue date, sorry, none of them will have an issue date if you haven't done the issue status, but look at the created date and the revision date, and any that have today's date would have to be the ones that would have to be issued. But if that issue status is so easy to see. I did say you could create your own issue statuses, so let's have a look. You're not stuck with the handful they give you out of the system. This is then found in Management Tools. So you go into Management Tools and then the Object Property Editor. And you can expand the section saying Approval Status, and you'll have the ones listed that exist. Select any existing one, click on the button saying New, then you can type in a new name and choose a new color. You can't use the same color twice, so choose any color that's not already used. And then you click the Apply button at the bottom right, and that's created a new status. So it's very easy to do. You can add your own ones. I've got as built there. Like I say, you might have for inquiry only, for construction, as built, whatever. So that's how you can do a nice, slick, efficient revision workflow. There will be no confusion. You're maximizing your use of the system. The system's doing all the hard work for you, tracking what's changing and what needs updating and what needs issuing, as long as you just remember a couple of simple commands in the right sequence. So let's just revise and double check that sequence again. The first thing is when you issue your drawings, don't forget you must set the issue status in Document Manager. That is key to having that efficient workflow. When a change does occur, then you need to go through the following steps. First of all, you perform all your known edits to the model until you get back to a stable model before you do anything else. Don't try and update the drawings piecemeal, do them all at once. So you do all edits to the model first, then you renumber the entire model. Don't try and just renumber the bits you think have changed. Then you run an all parts and an all assemblies drawing process, and that will automatically find any new drawings that need to be made and make them without you having to know which parts are involved. And then you use Document Manager and do update revision on the ones that say update required, and that will raise the issue of all the drawings that have been existing drawings that have been affected by the changes. And then, having done all that, the change drawings are now easily recognizable by the white dot in front of their name, so you can select and reissue those and reset an issue status to whatever you think is appropriate. So if you want this document, this is available for download. If you look in your GoToWebinar interface, there's a section there called Handouts. You can click there to download this PowerPoint so that you can have this to refer to in future. I'll give you a few moments to do that before I shut down. Jump on that now and download that. You can have this as a reminder. But having said that, I'm now finished. So we've got a couple of seconds. I'm going to ask you a question before you ask me any. Let's see, quick poll for you. How many of you knew about or used that issue status in Document Manager? Perhaps you can just quickly click on which ones you used. Okay, thanks very much. I think that's everybody's probably voted. Thanks for that. So 60% of you are aware of it. So 40 say they used it all the time. 40% didn't know about it. So at least 40 of you have hopefully, 40% of you have learned something new. Learned something new today. So it's really useful, good tool. Have you got any questions for me? If you have, you can type them into the question box in the GoToWebinar interface there. Okay, it doesn't seem to be any frantic typing. I can't see any questions popping up. So I take it that you're all happy then. So I'll leave you looking at a few images like you did at the start. But that concludes our webinar for today. Thank you.